I speak a lot about innovation, and of course, whatever precedes innovation in business is creativity. So innovation is actionable creativity, right? So it's so nice to have a creative person on, because so many times I'm talking to business owners and corporations, and they're like, we're operationally very good, financially, we know how to manufacture and ship things. We don't know so much about creativity. Yeah. And so they kind of say, it can't be that hard, and it can't be that important. I don't know anybody else that talks about it over lunch.
Right. It's harder to quantify a lot of times.
Right.
You can't define it.
I've got some papers over here.
Okay.
And so I don't want the camera to focus on me while I go over here and get the papers, all right? So you talk to the camera about the importance of creativity in business.
Well,
you could probably do that.
Well, as an illustrator and an author, I work in creativity all the time. And I was telling Lynn one time, I said my greatest joy is when I know I have to draw or write for someone to communicate what they want to communicate. There's nothing better. I mean, I love that process of just delving into what they're trying to accomplish. And I guess that's the left brain side of me that is always thinking, who's the audience, for the creativity?
So you got that discipline and focus.
Right. I mean,
left hemisphere of the brain. Yep.
I can't just be creating for the sake of, I could, and that would be fun.
Yeah.
But when you're in business as a creative, you have to be thinking of the audience and the reason why you're creating it, for whom you're creating it.
But the business owner that's watching us right now, or sales manager, or whatever, is saying, okay, but let's get to the right brain stuff. Let's get to where do the ideas come from, right? Where do you come up with this stuff, right? And eventually you put a cap on it and you say, okay, we're just going to do these and this way and all that. Right. But ultimately, somebody has to come up with an idea, maybe more than one.
And that's the really fun part.
That's the fun part. That's the good part. Now, let's talk about, let's say, why is it? Why is creativity so important in business? I know that seems obvious to you and I, but not everybody fully would appreciate that. What's the value of the whole thing?
Well, in my mind, at least, it's an aspect that will set a business a little bit apart from everybody else. If they're doing something creative, I hate to reuse the word, but if they're doing something a little bit more noticeable than anybody else, or more clever or innovative, and it doesn't have to take the form of artwork. It can take the form of processes, it's like the Spotify and Uber thing. That's very creative.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. So many companies feel that they can grow their business and get market share, increase the percentage of the market that they do business with, by performing optimally, right? Just by their functional performance. I've been talking recently to people in the architecture industry. They're not any different than anybody else, but every single one of those firms say, we are the best. We are really good at what we do. We really are. Next place, we are the best, etc., right? And on it goes, and they never, in those dialogues, tell me what the customer's thinking, because they don't know. They think they do, but they don't know, right? So it's a little bit sad in a way, because these people are operating, and it's not that they aren't making money, by the way. That makes it even more mysterious.
The dangerous thing is creating in a vacuum, though.
Creating in a vacuum.
That's by that meaning that you are self perpetuating your own ideas, and you're not really reaching to the outside to see what you should be doing.
By the way, one of the places where creativity manifests best, or is most easily used, is in meetings, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
I've been in hundreds of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And most of them are rather boring, somewhat mundane, led by boring people.
Yeah.
People are sneaking a look at their email while the meeting's going on, and nothing great comes out of it. And finally the boss says, well, I think we should do this. There he goes, yeah.
Because they want to get out of there.
They want to get out of there.
Yeah.
And
I always found it was a good time to doodle, because they think I'm taking notes and I'm just drawing pictures.
I've been sitting in these meetings. Sometimes I get hired to appraise meetings and how they're organized and so on. They all split, and the boss is sitting there going, what's the matter with these people?
Yeah.
Why are they like this? I don't get it. Why isn't anybody giving me some fresh action? And I said, well, first of all, it's your fault.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the first thing. And secondly, the environment that you're working within is rather poor. For instance, we talked earlier today about having in a meeting room, or especially when we're trying to come up with new strategies or something, right? And on one side of the room, you should have a whiteboard that says what? kind of the mission.
The mission, yeah. What do you want to accomplish?
What are we trying to, what's the purpose of this?
Right.
And then on the other side of the room, we have another one about the process.
The action.
Just some how we do things in this room. So, I mean, we don't interrupt people, you know, we don't get personal and point at people. That sucks, that idea, you know, stuff like that. So we make it clear how we're going to run this thing. And boy,
people have to feel like they're not being threatened or judged.
Right.
When they're in a meeting like that, if they're throwing out ideas.
Especially
you can't squash anything faster than the feeling of judgment or condemnation for being, you know, having an idea. And I've seen it happen plenty.
Many times, yes, in creative meetings.
Oh,
well, you know, we've got this thing right here in front of us. One of the things that's interesting that I like to do, people will say, well, Lynn, how do you come up with ideas? I hear that now and then.
Okay.
And part of the answer, not all the answer, but part of the answer is to collect materials, newspapers, magazines, snippets of paper, right, that have kind of ideas or headlines on them. So let's play a little game here, all right? And I'm going to let you dig through that right away.
First?
This is just it's a thick. How many documents would you say right now?
Oh, there's got to be
50, 60, 70?
I was going to say closer to 100.
Closer to 100 sheets of paper.
I have no idea what I'm doing
Okay,
here. But
pull it out. Oh, so here we are. All right, now this is very interesting. Huh?
Okay, should I read this?
Please read it.
So you apparently jotted this down.
I've jotted this down.
It says, the most important thing to people is, then in quotes, a job that I love. And that was from Jim Clifton.
Yeah, at Gallup.
Of Gallup.
Right.
Okay.
And I pulled that quote out of a book called The Job Board that he
okay.
wrote several years ago.
So a job that I love is the most important thing.
Yeah, the most important thing. And that's a very interesting thing because, for instance, I'm visiting with the accounting industry at a conference coming up in a few weeks.
Okay.
And if I asked them all, I said, how many of you would say, what percentage of the people in your company would say, quite sincerely, I love this job?
It'd be a pretty small number.
You think it'd be a small number?
I know it would be.
I think it would be as well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the question then becomes, and we can't go on at length about this, but how do you close that gap, right? Because here come the millennials, 43% of them are sick of their jobs and are already planning on leaving, right? The rest of them are burnt out. They're working so hard and they are absolutely reaching, you know, I'm talking about 24-year-old kids that are suffering from executive burnout, right? And that's why they're getting out.
But just think if you could somehow transform the processes or the environment or something so that people would enjoy what they're doing.
So they would love their jobs. Let's do a show about that later. All right, let's go choose another one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, wait a minute. Do you think should we do the little rating?
I feel like
let's
Vanna
rate our
White.
conversation.
Oh.
We have a little card message, kind of like the Olympics. And I want you and I to, 1 through 5, rate how helpful the little conversation we just had really is to the viewer now. How helpful it would be. If I were watching and I said, oh, those guys are talking about something, that sucks, that's no good, or wow, I really enjoyed what they said. Let's write it down right now. Okay, here we go.
Do I write just
write it down, then hold it up to the camera, not to me, so that you kind of hold it up to the camera, and I'm gonna hold up mine to the camera, all right? So here it is. Now we'll look and see what we have. 4 and 5.
4 and 5.
Not bad.
Yeah.
No, we both thought that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want you to feel comfortable telling me, Lynn, this conversation sucks.
Well, I didn't think, no, but I think.
That would be a great show. We just dedicate an entire show to how to cultivate a culture.
To me, a 5 we would be presenting all of the answers along with the questions.
Yeah, we don't have time, but that you're right. No, that's a great one. Let's do another one.
Okay.
Let's do it. Find something else in there that will trip the trigger.
Feels
we
really
got
different.
just a couple minutes left. Unfortunately, we should do this again sometime. Right. All right. So what do we have here? Right. What do we have here? No, on the front. I think this would be on the front. Let's see what we have. Oh, here it is. Co-working in the restaurant industry. Why don't you turn around and kind of hold it up nice and static so somebody can see that if they can. So this is a big trend in the restaurant industry. And the trend is in between lunch hour and dinner hour.
Okay.
All right. They open it up and try to turn it into a workspace. So you know, freelancers and people that are bopping around with a laptop.
So between 2 and 5 or something?
Yes. It's considered a co-working space. So if you're a restaurant owner, you don't dislike those guys that are hanging around at table 13 and they never seem to get up and leave, you know, so we can clean the table. That's not the idea. The idea is co-working, All right. So it's a shared space. It's productive. Maybe they can even have a laser printer over in the bathroom somewhere. I don't know. But you know,
That's a great idea.
it's a great idea.
I had not heard of that.
To build this incredible environment for.
It's a gathering space.
It's a gathering space. You don't have to be a restaurant user or customer. You can come there and do all kinds of work. Great Wi-Fi, you know, all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe even share ideas.
I would do that.
Kind of, me too. We'd probably meet there. I don't know. All right, Bruce Aaron, you're a wonderful commentator, a great guest. I really appreciate your help on this.
Thank you for
We'll do
letting
this exercise again because
Okay.
it's lots of fun to speculate about the impact of trends and creativity and doing new things.
I have to ask, how many years have you been collecting?
It'll be about 7 or 8 years.
Really?
Yeah, it's right down there. Just in case I run out of ideas, I just. All right.
Well, that's good.
Along with the sound effects. That's a part of the whole
That's the
deal.
best
All right. WowBiz Nebraska is wrapping up. My name is Lynn Hinderrocker. Thank you so much. I'm here with Bruce Aaron. We're uncovering trends, we're doing new things, and we're encouraging you to think about joint ventures and alliances and partnerships. We'll see you next time right here on WowBiz Nebraska. Thanks again. Bye-bye.